For the longest time, I've always wondered, how could a video game character in a fighting game moves be different if they took more material from the source material? For example, what if Alf from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate played differently compared to Olimar? What if Wario had a more Wario Land-esque moves, like a shoulder bash, and other things like that? And what if Josuke Higashikata from Part 8 had more moves based on the end of Part 8 instead of just being ported over from the original? And a good example of this is Poochie from JoJo All-Star Battle R. As you can see, Poochie and Final Poochie are two separate characters, but the same character at the same time. They both have similar moves, but also different moves at the same time. For original Poochie, he has more White Snake, and Final Poochie has the ability to transform, giving him new moves based off of later parts of manga, which I like because it took material from something that came out later. So starting today in this little mini series that I'm going to do every once in a while, I want to look at characters in video games and see how their moves could change, or how a character in a video game could be taken to another video game and how their moves would work. And I think what better way to start this franchise off in honor of the new Donkey Kong game that came out than what if Donkey Kong had moves inspired from Donkey Kong Bananza? Before we get into it though, I am clarifying. I am not covering stats, I am not covering costumes, I am only covering what moves could be added or taken away from this character. To start off, why don't we start off with the moves that are not changing at all? They are staying, which are Donkey Kong's Pummel, Forward Smash, Down Smash, Up Smash, Forward Tilt, Up Tilt, Nair, Forward Air, Down Air, Back Air, Up Air, Grab, Up Throw, Down Throw, Forward Throw, Back Throw, Up Special, Side Special. But you may be wondering, what about the moves that I didn't mention, like Neutral Special, Down Special, and Down Tilt? Well, sadly, Down Tilt is being removed completely and is being replaced by Down Special. Down Special will take its place, but without the shockwave. And Neutral Special is just changed somewhere else, which I will get to in a minute. But before we do, how about I start with talking about the special moves that are replacing Neutral Special and Down Special. For his Neutral Special, it's the Stone Grab from Donkey Kong Bananza. You press B and he will grab the ground and rip out a chunk of it. And I like to think this would work like Steve's Materials, where depending on the stage, it will be something else entirely. For example, it could purely just be stone, or it could be concrete, or it would be dirt in one case. And each one would have a different resistance. So dirt would explode immediately upon one hit, stone would you can hit people with it twice, and concrete you could hit them 3 times. But I like to think that's how it would be done. But when you use Neutral Special and grab the stones, you also lose some moves. You can no longer do your smash attacks or your normal jab. Instead, they are replaced, and your aerial attacks are also replaced. For example, Forward Tilt is replaced with a regular swing. When you're holding it, you'll swing it, and that will be it. And you can also it would also be your forward air and back air if you do it in the air. Your down tilt, or if you hold down, or if you do a down smash, will be that you'll slam the rock into the ground, which would bury opponents if hits. In the air, it will spike them down. And your up smash slash up tilt and up air, you'll push the rock up, launching opponents upward if it hits them. And your neutral air would be you would spin around with the rock. You would spin the rock around in the air. And the last two things you would be able to do with neutral special when you're holding a rock is when you're in the air, if you've already used your double jump, you can press jump again and you'll throw whatever you're holding downwards. Anything below it would be hit while launching you upwards, giving you more height. But the exchange on that is that you'll then immediately enter free fall. So that means you won't be able to use any specials or anything. I think it balances out so you can't just get massive height then massive height. And the last thing is if you press neutral special again while holding a rock, you'll throw the rock at the opponent. And if it hits them, it could, depending on what material it is, it will do different damage and different resistance knockback. For example, the dirt would obviously do the least amount of damage, but the concrete would do the most. And now we should talk about what's replacing Donkey Kong's down special. But before we do that, in my idea, if this is added, Donkey Kong would now have a little gauge next to his damage, like Joker and Cloud. It would function as a mixture of the two. Donkey Kong's down special would now be that him to drum his chest and fill up the meter, like Cloud's limit break. And it would work like Joker's. As soon as it's filled, it will start draining. And as soon as it's empty, you'll transform back into normal Donkey Kong. But when it's full and you do down special again, you'll transform into Bananza mode, where you'll transform it into Kong Bananza. Kong Bananza will be your default mode. It will be just basically what you'll see for most of the match. But depending on what attack you do, it will change Bananzas. For example, let's start with the specials. His neutral special is staying the same. The rock, picking up the ground and throwing it. And vice versa. All of the extra things I said, like the triple jump, all of that is staying the same, except it will now be stronger. In Bananza mode, he would get like a 1.25 stat multiplier, I don't know. But now let's get to the other specials. Let's start with down special. This is where Donkey Kong's charge punch went. And basically, it works the exact same. You charge up a punch, when it's fully charged, it does massive damage. But now, if you miss the punch, it will send out a shockwave that will deal massive damage. That will do 1/3 the damage of the punch, depending on when it was fired. If it was fully charged, half charged, all of that. And it would disappear immediately upon contact with an enemy. And it would fly a short distance, not as far as a projectile like Samus's energy ball, but a good distance. Next is his side special. This one functions like Jigglypuff's neutral beat and Yoshi's egg charge. He'll turn into Zebra Bananza, where he will charge up and run at the enemy. And like them, if you run into the enemy, it'll do damage. And also like Yoshi's egg and Jigglypuff's rollout, you can turn. But when you turn, you send out a little shockwave that has a sweet spot that will deal massive damage, like Ridley's sweet spot for his down special. And if you land it, it will do massive damage, but it's a very tight window and very difficult to hit. And finally, for the last special, this one works like a fusion of Steve's recovery and Banjo's recovery. Banjo's that you can charge it up and that it will send you higher. When you do it, you jump in the air and you'll turn into Snake Bananza, charging up a charged jump. When it's fully charged, you'll go super high in the sky. But if you press B again, or this will automatically happen, I don't know, you'll turn into Ostrich Bananza, which allows you to glide for 1 or 2 seconds before you turn back into Kong Bananza, allowing you to get back on stage if you're knocked off a while. It's very useful, and that's also the reason why I made it so you go into free fall after you use your third jump, because it would be kind of overpowered if you were able to gain so much height, because with all of that together, you would be able to go pretty far and pretty high, which could make it so you can recover basically from anything. Alright, now we're going to talk about the tilts. For forward tilt, you'll turn into Snake Bananza for a sec and slap your tail across the ground. As you can see in this video, I kind of made a basic demonstration. I am not the best at 3D modeling, so I couldn't create a good animation, but in my opinion, it gets the point across. For his up tilt, it's basically the same, but you'll turn into Elephant Bananza, and then slap your trunk in the air, hitting enemies out of it. It functions the exact same, it's just basically a skin change, but that's pretty much it. Down tilt will stay the exact same as the original down tilt. That's now down special, but with no shockwave. Now let's move on to the grab. The grab is basically the exact same, except it now has a longer range. It now kind of functions as a tether grab, like Ivysaur's, or Young Link's hook chain, or Zero Suit Samus's like grab thing. It will have a longer range, but besides that, and being an Elephant Bananza, it is the exact same. All the throws are the same, they'll do a bit more damage and all that, but they'll look the exact same. And finally, let's go on to the airs. For neutral air, it will stay the same. Because I think it fits normally. But these ones are when it gets interesting. For forward air, you'll turn into Ostrich Bananza and hit your enemies with your wings. As you can see in the video, I don't really have a way to do that, so it's just imagine it. For his back air, you'll drop an Egg Bomb. It will function basically identically to Mr. Game & Watch Forward's air, where he drops the bomb and it will fall down and then explode after some time. Your down air would be the Meteor Smash. You'll turn into Snake Bananza and collide into the ground. It will function like Kazuya's down air, where it will send you downwards. And finally, up air, it is basically the same as up tilt, where it's the elephant trunk just smacking the enemies up, and finally, the final smash. This one, I think, would be the exact same, but with a new fresh coat of paint on it. In this video, this basic demonstration I made, which I'll play now, you can see how it would work. As you can see in the video, this final smash would start with Donkey Kong turning into Snake Bananza using glare. Anyone caught in the cone shape kind of thing would then be hit with a Congo Rush, but this time you would swap between all of the Bananzas slowly, ending with Kong Bananza delivering one powerful punch, which is the best way I can think of it, because I feel like the Congo Rush fits Donkey Kong already, but I feel like a new coat of paint would also work for it. And that is all I have. That is how I think a Donkey Kong Bananza moveset could work for Donkey Kong while keeping the original intent from the original Donkey Kong. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, favorite, all of that stuff, and I hope to see you again another time. I'm planning on making this a monthly series and slowly filling out a whole roster. I would love it if you leave a comment suggesting a character I can try. I will do my best, and I hope to see you later.